All right, previously I left you hanging and I was like, this is what Alcoa means. And then I was like, okay, here's a positive or a little plus, Alcoa plus. But what does the plus stand for? Well, what they decided to do is implement Alcoa first. And they were like, hey, this is not really it. We need to be a little bit more thorough. We need to make sure that we hit some points home a little bit more. So, what does the plus represent? Well, here are some things that we need to keep in mind when we begin working and filling out and storing the documentation. Number one, you want to make sure that it is complete. That's a have to. All information has to be present. So if you're in the quality unit, you will be looking for the documentation completeness. You'll be making sure all T's are crossed, all I's are dotted. Everything is attached according to plan. Things have been initialed. Things have been timed. Things have been dated. That's your job. So we got to make sure it's complete. Next, we've got to make sure that the documentation that's getting created, the review of the documentation, the storage of the documentation, it's all consistent. All information needs to be recorded in the same way. If they're done by different people, it does not matter. It's got to be done in the same way. That's part of training. And it has to be done in the order that the data especially was generated. Because things are done in real time. Things are contemporaneous. Remember the C? So as you're filling out the documentation and as you're going through these steps, it might seem jumbled up to you and you might want to reorganize it. You cannot do that. It is what it is. You're filling out the form. You're documenting things. You're going through the steps. Absolutely. And as you complete those steps, you're starting to input data. You're starting to write sentences. You're starting to kind of log stuff. And it's got to be done in the order that you're supposed to be following the SOP. And again, every single day, it's got to be done the same way. Next up, enduring. Oh. Enduring means that you probably need to use a pen. And you probably need to make sure that it does not fade over a course of time. That means it's going to last. So think about your thermal receipt papers. You get those at grocery stores or at Walmart or fast food restaurants. They zip off this little receipt. You put it in your car. It's a hot summer day in Wilmington. Oh, woo! It's 110 degrees place. And if you leave that receipt in your car long enough, it's going to fade. That's not enduring. You need it to endure. You need it to last a little bit longer. Because if an auditor comes 1 year later and they're like, let me see your receipt tickets. And you're like, okay, auditor, not a problem. I'll go pull them up. I know exactly where they're stored because I'm a great member of quality unit. And I go and I start digging through the filing cabinets and I pull out a folder and I pull out a form and I open it up and I'm like, here you go. And then the auditor's going to look and just say, it's blank. There's nothing here. Or it's so faded I can't read it. Uh-oh, whoopsie. That's a problem. Guess what? 483s are probably coming, if not worse. So they have to be enduring. Next up, available. So this information, these documents have to be available. That means they should be able to be pulled and reviewed at any moment in time. Whenever they are requested to be reviewed, you should be able to review them. It's accessible over the lifetime of whatever the process is, whatever the product is, whatever type of activity that the document is supposed to represent. There should be a filing and retrieving process in plan, and it should be a very, very good one. And then finally, the plus is record retention policy. What does that mean? Retention policy? Well, retention is kind of like to hold. So is this kind of referring to how we hold things? Maybe before we release them? Yeah. You've made a product. Good for you. You filled out all the documentation. Good for you. You did what you were supposed to do. Absolutely. Your documentation's complete. It's legit. It's been filed by the quality unit. It can be pulled at any time if an inspector needs it. But the retention policy is also a thing. But this is also retention of documents as well. Both things are fine. We're going to hold on to something that we've made, that we produced, that's retaining it. We're going to go through some testing to make sure it's legit. Here's the documentation to prove that it was legit. And now we released it. But also a system in place of retainment of documents. How do you store them? How do you file them? How long do you keep a hold of them? Where are they located? A different warehouse? Okay. How are things retrieved? Electronically? Paperwork-wise? Where did things get stored and how long? That is record retention policy as well. So record the retention policy, absolutely. And your records that you are producing, that has a retention policy too. So it's like a little double dagger here. So this is the plus of Alcoa. Complete, consistent, enduring, available. Sounds kind of like me in a way, right? Well, not available. Let's take that one off. But I'm complete. I'm consistent. I'm enduring. I love each and every one of you. Oh, you're such my favorite students ever. And I got a record retention policy. Okay, this is what the plus for Alcoa is. So attributable, legible, contemporaneous, original and accurate. And then you want to make sure that these documents are going to be complete, consistent, enduring, they last forever, available, and they are retained. That's what this is all about. Next up, since we're talking about data, and since we are talking about filling out the forms, logging things that are done, we now want to turn our focus to something called data integrity. Do you have high standards for yourself? Is your integrity through the roof? So data integrity is going to refer to the completeness of data, the consistency of the data, and the accuracy of the data over its lifespan. Okay. So, I have gave you a quiz. And that quiz you've made a score on. That's a data point. That score goes into Canvas. Oh, I filed it. It's there. It's an electronic record. It's attributable because the name, The date and the time when it was submitted is logged. It's legible. I can read that number. It's contemporaneous because you filled that out and you completed that quiz in real time. Original. Your original answers are in there. I can go back and review those at any point in time. The originals are there. And it's accurate. Which means it has been graded. It's been reviewed. The answers are there. Absolutely. No one changed anything. It's all present. It's complete. You answer the questions. That's really all that you had to do for that assignment. It's consistent because other people have done it and they've all done the same thing. It's enduring because it does last. I can go back and I can take a look at your quizzes from this semester or from 10 years ago. I've got access to that data. It's available because I do have access to that data whenever I want it. And there's a retention policy in place, which means after a certain number of years, the college is going to do a dump. And that college is going to get rid of some of those individual assignments, and they're not going to show me what those scores are anymore because it takes up too memory. And after a certain amount of time, it doesn't matter anyway. Why should it matter what you got on a quiz from 10 years ago, right? So this is data integrity. And what this means is that there is a system in place. Once it goes in, no one can change it. We feel really good. We have very high standards. So when I'm on the manufacturing line and I pull up my little computer, maybe that's a thing, or I bring out my little sheet and I'm writing on the sheet, then I'm going to be writing down some numbers and some steps. How do I know that things have not been changed? Uh-oh. I've completed what I need to do. I've done what I was supposed to do. I sent that form over. How can we make sure that someone up the chain is not taking my report and adding things to it or taking things out or changing values just to make sure that that document passes with flying colors in the eyes of an auditor and a reviewer? We desperately do not want that to happen. There is no integrity in that type of job. So cGMPs are going to talk a little bit about this, and it's going to tell us the minimum requirements that they are going to have to be put in place to meet the FD&C standards and CFR Title 21 regarding everything, including documentation. Now that we're a big pharma company, I need you to lead the data integrity team. Oh, okay. So you want me to make sure that all of the data from our drug trials is accurate? Oh, maybe you're not the right person for the job. I hope you are not put into this type of situation. Could you imagine? We're going to hire somebody to do a job, and their job is to review the data, and if they see something that's not quite legit or something that's wrong or something that we don't agree with, and we just need to be like, hey, listen, between us, could you do that for me? Oh, absolutely, sir. Absolutely, ma'am. Where would you like me to sign and date it? Oh, my goodness. Talk about violations. Talk about problems. Talk about going to court. Talk about being put in jail with a weird, strange roommate that I can't trust and I got to sleep with one eye open on. I hope not. But there's got to be measures in place to prevent a discussion like this from happening. How can we make it so that data integrity exists and that we cannot go in and tamper with it? GMP looking over my shoulder every single day, every single time I do something. Oh no. Data and the reportable value must be checked by a second individual to ensure accuracy, completeness, and conformance with the procedures. It's all in GMP, folks. So if I'm on the manufacturing line, I'm doing things, I'm filling out a document, I'm reading results, reading gauges, looking at pressures, digital readouts, whatever case that might be, I'm going to be logging, I'm going to be documenting it. And I need a second set of eyes on that as well to confirm that that is the appropriate temperature, that is the appropriate pressure, that is the appropriate dissolved oxygen levels that I see in maybe a bioreactor that I'm using at that moment in time. If I've decided to measure out something that is what I wrote down, a second set of eyes is going to look at that and say, yeah, that looks good. I'll initial it as well. It is a double check that is in place. So locally, this is the way that we make sure that people are not lying about the data. A second set of eyes have to go along with it. That document then gets transferred to the quality unit. The quality unit reviews it. And they should be, if data integrity is important to them, reviewing everything. And if they see something that's out of line, they come back and they tell somebody. They should not be changing data on their end to make it work or to make it pass. Because guess what? There's probably a second set of eyeballs on them as well. So, not perfect, but how can we prevent the lying and the manipulation and the Jerry Springers from taking place in a laboratory environment or a manufacturing environment? Ding, ding, ding! And the reason that we're hitting so hard on documentation is because this is one of the most common problems that auditors are finding, and that will issue these violations and these 483s and all of these warning letters that begin to go on. It is all about the documentation. How is the documentation getting filled out? How is it getting stored? Who reviews it? Who sees it? What are self-check measures in place to prevent documents from being changed once they go into the system? The violations are going up and up and up and up and up. So documentation is a very big thing. It is one of the most common problems that auditors and inspectors find. So how can we ensure that the data is complete? How can we ensure that it's being done in real time? Are authorized people only able to make changes? It's like once you key it in, it is what it is. You can't go back. You can't change it at a later date. But maybe it needs to be updated. Maybe there is a mistake that needs to be made. Maybe someone does need to go in and make a change. So who has that authorization to do it? And if you do make the changes, what is the history of those changes? There's got to be a log system in place that tells me this is who made a change. This is what they changed. This is why they changed it. This is the date. This is the time. All of that has to be explained. All of that has to be detailed. Absolutely, it does. It's got to. Who reviews the data? What's their initials? What's their name? What date did they review it? What time did they review it? What did they look at? Did they sign off on it? Yes or no? And how is it secured? Is someone able to hack into your system and do whatever they need to do? Externally or internally? That means entire teams of IT people are going to have to be involved here. Network security, very important. Data security, extremely important. How are you ensuring that the data that you are doing is actually legit and tamper-proof? So, if these are the problems, if these are issues, if these are things that are commonly seen, what are some of the things that we can do to make sure that these are upheld, that these are not happening at our facility, or these are not happening with me as I do my job task throughout the day? And that is what we'll talk about in the next videos. So what are the proper ways for me to fill out documentation? That's what's next. Come back.